Hi, everyone. My name is Sergio Cofre Martel. I'm a PhD candidate at UMD in reliability engineering. And today we're going to be covering how to install and run PrairieLearn locally on your computer. So I'm going to share my screen here. And here we go. So the one thing we need is just this website here, which is going to be included in the video description. But all the instructions that you need to follow are in this website provided by PrairieLearn. So the first thing is to actually just download Docker. Okay, so Docker is going to allow us to create an image to run the PrairieLearn environment. Okay, so depending on your operating system, you go to either of these links. In my case, I do have Windows, so for me it will be this dish here. And just click on get Docker and then save it. As you can see, I already have it, so I'm not gonna download it right now. But if I go to downloads, which is where I saved it, we can have, so you get the installer and you can just run that and keep all the defaults as they are. In my case, since I have it installed, it's just gonna tell me that I'm up to date. But that should be all. So let's see here. Yeah, so in my case, I'm up to date. I'm all good. You should get like something like a list with 3 checkboxes. Just leave them as they are, and then just close the installer. Okay. So the actual software, we're not going to use it. Like Docker itself is not going to be used, but rather we'll go into PowerShell, which is provided with every Windows computer. So if you just go to the search bar and type PowerShell, it should come up quickly. And if you open that, you'll see a terminal just like this, okay? So if we go back to our instructions, that's actually what we're told to do. We are told to run this line in the PowerShell, okay? So step 1, just downloading the Docker. Step 2, running this line in the PowerShell, okay? So you just run that, and this, what it would do is just to install PrairieLearn. Again, in my case, I already have it installed. So it doesn't need to download anything. In your case, it's probably going to take a minute or two because it needs to update and download all the packages. Okay. So once it's installed, you should get these green signs here, and it will tell you to go to this local host on your browser. So you just copy and paste that, and you can just paste it on your browser. And as you can see now, this should already look familiar, right? Like this is the main PL website. So to load a PL environment, you just go here to load from disk on your upper right hand side. So if you click on that, it will automatically load all the files in the directory that you're in. Okay. So in this case, it says success. It will load the default courses. So in this case, it's just a test course and example course. Okay. There's nothing really to them, just a couple of questions, but you'll see that this is not what you're looking for. Like this is not the repository you're supposed to be working on. So to do that, we actually need to run step 3, which is running this little line here, which is by far the most tricky, the trickiest part of this tutorial, because obviously you could have just followed these instructions on your own. But the problem is that this line, if you're not familiar with terminal language or terminal coding, however you want to call it, you're supposed to copy and paste this line, but change this last part to the path or the directory where you have your repository for the PL course that you're doing, or the one that you're developing, right? So in my case, I have it on my desktop. So if I can show you here, the folder is right here. The course is ENME 382, and here I can have all the questions that we have been developing for that course. Okay, so you can see that my route or my path will be the users, my name, and desktop, and so on. So if I just cancel here in the PowerShell, what you should do is go to the tutorial here, copy and paste that, and then change this part with your path. So that will basically be go to the folder and just copy and paste that. Okay. Well, actually, no, you need to go in. So here, It will be just copy and paste that. All right. So once you do that, you copy this, replace that for your path, and then you paste it here. So in my case, you'll see it here. I have it right here. So after the V, everything changes, and that's just the whole path to it. And you can see here you have like the path goes all the way up to here, and then this needs to be kept because it's basically saying, okay, it's gonna be a PL course, and this is the folder you should look at. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This is your path, and then all the rest needs to be kept the same. Okay, so you just run that, and it should do the exact same as it did before, right? So it's gonna tell you go to the localhost 3000. We go here, we just refresh the browser, load from disk. In my case, it gives me a little error because I have an error in my file, but it's gonna load the course anyways. So you can see now that the course appears here, and you can just click on there, and then it should become the normal web browser or the normal website that you have online, right? So yeah, and you have access to it. Obviously, I'm not gonna click on them because there's sensitive information, but that should get you started. So the second thing I want to talk about in this video is how to develop questions, or what softwares are better to create questions, right? So when I first started, I actually was using GitLab, and the cool thing about GitLab is like it's easy to use, it's friendly, the interface is very simple, and you can actually edit Python files, right? But and you can even go to the launcher and open a console here and just run whatever. The problem is that if you open an HTML file, it's not going to show it to you. You have to open it up in the browser. And if you open a JSON file, it's going to show it to you, but you cannot edit it. And obviously, that's the same for the HTML file. You cannot edit the HTML file. So obviously, that's not a problem per se, but it is a drawback because it means that you either have to go into a third-party software and open the file there and just work in two environments, which is never something you want to do. So one place where you can actually open everything is the Spider from Anaconda, right? So in Spider, if I go here, I actually created a little example for this tutorial where tutorial here. Give me 1 second here. So here I have the same files, right? The JSON file, the HTML, and the server .py. So yeah, if I open that, I can see now that I can actually edit this, right? Which I couldn't do before. And same for the question, I can edit, and for obviously for the Python file. I'm gonna just zoom in a little bit so you guys can see better. And so yeah, and the idea is that the Spider actually recognizes the file format. So if you open an HTML file, the color map is going to be different, or it's going to be specific for HTML, which is and also for Python, it's going to recognize the Python file, and it's going to give you a different color map, which obviously depends on the syntax of the coding. So yeah, and it's much more friendly, but obviously the one drawback you have is that you cannot edit multiple lines at the same time. Thing that you can actually do in GitLab. But that's where you can go into other editors like Atom or PyCharm, where you can actually do that, and you can also open all these files. Also, you can run the terminal, run right here, and you get like all these interactive variable explorer and stuff like that. So just to show you, I created this little example where I'm going to open it here in the local host. So if you go to questions, right, we can look for it. So tutorial and the example here. So we have a question. So what's the qubit value of 7, right? Obviously, that's a little hard to do by on your mind. So I'm just going to change it to x squared. And let me see here. So what's the square value, right? And then I'm going to change here. So if I save all this, and then I go back to the local host, a new variant is going to be updated, right? So, and that's the cool thing. So you can just work in one environment, save your changes, load it on the local PO environment, and it's going to show you how it looks like. Okay, and obviously now if I type in 9, it should give me the correct answer, right? So sorry about that. Let's see. Right, there we go. Right. Another advantage again is that you can just run the Python script right here. So if you set up a doc test, in this case, I put a little doc test up here. So for x equals 2, obviously the value should be 4. So if I run that, I don't get any errors. But if I change this to, let's say, +1, which is obviously not the right answer, if I run this, I'll get an error, right? And it's going to me, hey, this actually is supposed to be 4, and you gave me a 5. So go back and fix it. And obviously the number that you got is a little feedback on where you might have gone wrong. So yeah, that's about it. That should get you started to create and develop questions. Obviously, you need to remember that everything is being done locally. So once you're finished with your question, you should pull using Git from the repository and then push again, right? So commit and push. Obviously, we're gonna cover that in a different video, but always remember that if you do changes locally, they're not gonna be uploaded to the cloud unless you do so through Git or manually. So it's very important to always first get the data from the cloud first, and then you push yours so there's no conflicts. Okay. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.